Hello students, so this is a continuation from the Revit Easy House. What we will be doing today is modeling something slightly more complicated. We're going to model a simple two-story house, but we're also going to be working on extracting drawings from a model. So this will be very simple, but this will be the basis for understanding the relationship that the 3D model has to the final drawing sets. So one of the important things that we're going to do is open up a new document, and we are going to be very mindful about the template file that we open. So for example, we probably used architectural template for the Revit house, and all these are other sort of standard templates that are automatically a part of the Revit family. However, I just know personally that the architectural template leaves much to desire as in regards to drawing. So instead, we're going to go over here and browse and pick a different one. There is this residential default, and let's have a look at that. So just looking over here, you start to see a bunch of other views. But what is most important is the sheet set. So this is a template that is designed to accommodate a standard residential project. We are designing a standard residential project right now, and these are the drawings associated with that. Let's just go back and open a new one that's on the architectural template. There are no sheets. There's nothing to click down. On top of that, there are no schedules, and that's also problematic. Of course, we could just build them, but that's not really a valuable use of our time. So it's best to start with the template that most accommodates your needs. And to be, frank, most firms and companies that use Revit will have their own template and style, because, for example, this title sheet has the Autodesk logo. This would probably be a company's logo. Sometimes title sheets look different. Sometimes there's long ones instead of the one on the short side. So all this stuff might be customized by the company along with other sort of requirements. So that's primarily the thing that changed about that would be the sheets, but also you can kind of see that there's just the first and the second floor. But then we click open to the floor plans, and there is just so much stuff. Again, great for basic residential projects, but for us, we will not be using those today. So something to know when you open up these templates is you can just click on a floor plan and hit delete, and that floor plan is gone. So where that can affect you most is in your elevation. So let's click over to north, and you now see all these corresponding elevation tags, levels. So again, I just deleted the BO footing, bottom of footing, probably. And then this is the basement, -8 feet 6 inches, foundation first floor, up. So for our use, we are just going to design the first floor, second floor, and roof. We don't really need all this stuff, so I'm about to delete it, but it's important to notice the difference between the blue and the black. The blue is effectively a hyperlink. If you click on it, you will go to the floor plan that corresponds to this level. So click, and I am on the TO footing. So if I delete that, it turns black. Basically, it's simply a hyperlink. But for now, we're just going to delete all three of these because we're not designing like that right now. Okie dokie. So all I really care about for now is a first floor, a second floor, and a roof. Super. And now my sheets are all here, and we will talk about those later. So let's just quickly go back and start modeling again. We'll start with walls. Maybe you know, but maybe you need a refresher. Here's a bunch of different lines to create different walls. There's arcs, but I'm going to use this rectangle to make 4 walls very quickly. Just make it about 40 feet by 40 feet. I am just looking at the numbers as I'm cursoring, so that's great. I don't care about these two, so I'm just going to delete them. Again, I don't want that. I don't even want a site plan right now, so I'm just going to delete that. So first floor, here we are. But I want to make a 2-story building. And today we're not going to talk about stairs. We're just going to quickly sketch out 2-story building, similar to the Easy House. So the easiest way to sort of understand, there's lots of ways you could do this. I think in 3D is the easiest way to sort of know what you're working with. So if you hold down Control, you can select multiple objects, just an FYI. But if you select this, you can see that it is top constraint unconnected. Let's bring that up to the roof. And you see that it's slightly adjusted. So I'm not sure what the exact number it was adjusting to, but now this ensures that it's at the roof level. Similarly, you can drag, and similarly, you can type in that number, and enter it here. But I find connecting it to the levels gives you that flexibility later on when you want to make a change. So now let's go back. We have checking the elevation. Yep, so it is a 2-story building. Go back to the first floor plan. Let's add a couple interior walls. I now notice that I drew these exterior walls in a basic wall generic 6 inches. Most exterior walls are not 6 inches. So instead, I'm just going to turn this into a brick on wood stud. Once I did that, you can sort of see the difference in thickness. It's not super obvious, but one way to change that is to make it change the coarse, medium, and fine renderings settings. So this is actually the detail level of the drawing that it will show you. So on a site plan, for example, this sort of hatching is not necessary to convey. But on a detailed plan, you know, the actual way that the wall is going together is important. So that's where that coarse, and it also prevents crashing. But anyways, oops. So let's go ahead and make all of these the exterior brick on stud. Great. So now let's go ahead and draw a new wall, basic, fine. We're just gonna pretend this is like an adorable little office. Now we are going to go put some doors in. Sliding closet. No, we're not. It's not a big closet. So one thing you'll notice is the templates have more families already loaded, which is great because some of you have experienced trying to find a specific family and it's not easy. So let's do a double glass, whatever, any door will do. We'll do 6 feet. Let's do another double glass, get some air flowing through this place. One thing that you need to know to modify, for example, I know this is 6 foot from center. I'm just going to change this number to align it. Oops. So now these are center. Okay, so carrying on, let's do different doors. Single flush, simple, 36 doors. I am hovering over here, but I know I don't want the door swing that way, so I'm going to hit spacebar to rotate it. Perfect. Now let's go look briefly in 3D view at our beautiful model. One thing that I'm immediately noticing is, again, I didn't really intend for these walls to go to, again, this unconnected 20. So I'm going to make this connection the second floor. All right, perfect. And now everything else looks fantastic. So back to the second floor plan. Let's add some walls. Okay, so we have sort of an idea about two rooms up there. Now let's go ahead and add some floors. So I am clicked onto the second floor. And one of the things that I want to do is have a double height space here on the first floor and a single height space here, which means that my floor is going to end about here, leaving it open to below. So that's where some of these tools can help you. For me, I'm just going to go ahead and do something like pick the wall. But obviously, that doesn't immediately help because now it is all the way. If I edit that boundary, however, I can go ahead and grab it and move it back. This is very unscientific, but this 14-foot opening leaves about a 6-foot walkway there, so we'll go with that. What is this? Okay, so that's the second floor. Accept that. Yes. And now let's go to the first floor. Quickly draw in another floor using the wall select tool. Pick walls. And check. Okay, 3D view quickly again. Again, I really should pay attention when I'm drawing these walls, but they are like 20 feet by default. I'm going to hold control, select the walls, and then move them to the roof level. All right, beautiful. So we can also put some windows in. I leave that to you. Make this as pretty and designy as you want. Add some doors here. But your assignment is to effectively draw a 2-story residential home. Everything except the steps. So one thing that is also fun to use is the railing tool. So you can sketch a path, and that path is going to be there. You can pick other railing types. Pipe's great, or that glass. It seems not really residential, but that's nice. And then you have your railing. Okay, so now we are on the path to creating a beautiful home. And since you all know how to do this, I leave it to you to do as much as you want. Last step we'll do is a roof. I'm going to make the overhang more than 1 foot. Let's make it 2. Let's do the wall selection tool. I don't really care. 9/12 is fine. Maybe we're in Iowa and it snows a lot. There we go. Yes. Okay, let's have a look. 3D view. Oh my gosh. Put it on the wrong level for sure. Okay, so now we have repaired this whole situation. We have a roof in a house, and you're going to put windows in it. It's going to be beautiful. So the actual important thing to sort of get through for this assignment is to create drawings for the first time. So let's just explore what those drawings are. I'm going to click here. So these are elevation tags. They typically belong on your first floor plan. But one of the things, again, that we will, and you zoom in here, and it's a first floor, it's quarter scale. You can sort of move these things around. It's just a viewport looking into your actual drawing. So if I delete this, I am not deleting my drawing. It is basically a window into that drawing. You can sort of adjust it, but what we want to make sure we're doing is updating this information. So the best way to do that is if you go to the Manage tab, you will see something called Project Information. And Project Information is a place to input all this data. So organization name, I have Leslie's Design Studio. Description, architectural services. Building name. Let's say this is just on the LBCCMM building. Author, LCF. Typically you put initials for those things. Project issue date. So these are all things that you can input that will show up over here. So the issue date, 9/3/2019. Status. So there's usually a couple statuses. So one would be schematic design, one would be design development, construction documents, etc. So let's just put design development. Client name, LBCC, address. You can pop down onto this colon and click project name, whatever, it goes on and on. Blah, blah. Project Project number is usually a standard within each office. So 2019, maybe it's project number 20, whatever. So once I do all that, this, which was sort of blank, this is our client, this is our drawing, first floor plan, this is the issue date. This has all been populated. There will still be some things that are not populated when you enter that, and those things can be entered manually. For example, drawn by. Usually you say, I drew it, LCF, that's my initials. Usually it's checked by someone else. So let's say it's checked by another person and they would put their initials. This is the way it's been for a long time, and this is the way you identify who has drawn what, sort of get down to the reality of why things are the way they are. Okay? Another thing you can sort of do is fix these elevations. So all the stuff, the big mistakes that people usually do, and this is something we will work on all semester, is just automatically let Autodesk generate things for you. But if you have experience with drawings, you know that this elevation tag being out here isn't great. It's not making a great drawing. It's not perfectly centered. It's kind of far away. So these sort of little things you will have to sort of do and think about as a drawing. Because I did it on the second floor and I wasn't paying attention. Here we go. No, I did it. Anyways. So now let's talk about what drawings you will need. So if you zoom in, there's a whole bunch of like little line weight things which are not ideal, but we will work on graphics later. Okay, so we are going to be developing floor plans for this assignment. The next thing we need to do is develop some elevations. So if you click over to this default elevation, it does not have any drawings in it, similar to how first floor and second floor were already there. But all you have to do is right click and add a view. So there are already elevation east, add view to sheet. It's going to let you sort of place it. Boom, this beautiful house. There is plenty of room here, so I'm going to actually add another view. So that was the east. Let's do the west. Add view to sheet. Oh my gosh, so beautiful. And like sort of maybe line it up a touch. You can sort of see that the tag lines are not lining up. We can fix that later. Next, let's go to the other elevation sheet. Same thing. Let's add the north and the south. So add view north. Nice. And then add view south. Okay, so again, there's like some adjusting that we could do, making this center, having the lines be center, but for now, this is a good place to start. The last thing, drawing that I want you to submit is a building sections drawing. So if you click on building sections, again, that is totally empty. And even if you click add view, there's not really anything here that's a section. So that's because you haven't placed your section yet. You can do that on the plan view. If you go over to, view and you grab this section, you can then pull the section all the way through. I'm probably adjusting this a little bit because you don't want it to be too far. Breaking it up a little bit. And that has created a section. But for people that are familiar, there's no call out indicating what this section might be called. It's called section 1 right now. If you click over here, this is section 1. Beautiful. Amazing. But it doesn't have a call out because it doesn't have a page yet. So let's just go on down to building sections, add view, section 1. Add view to sheet. Such a beautiful section. We're just going to go ahead and sort of print these. So first thing, let's just go ahead, file, print. I'm going to Microsoft print to PDF, but then you can come down here and do the selected views sheets. So if you click select, there are all these elevations, and then further down there are the sheets. So I'm going to select the first floor plan, second floor plan, the elevations, and my building section. These 5 drawings. I'm going to hit OK. Do you want to save these settings for future Revit sessions? You know, some people definitely do that. So sure, why not? We'll call this, I'm going to call this DD set. And then hit OK. Oh, I don't want to print these 5 views as separate files. I actually want them all together because I'm going to email them to someone. So hit no, and then just go back and hit them into a combined multiple file. Now if we close out, double click on the PDF, you will see the beginning. Oops, the section did not come with the tag. Fix that later. But you'll see the beginning of, beautiful. So this is why we have to look at all our drawings first. Important lessons. This definitely should not be like this. This is not helpful for anyone. But this is a first pass at making drawings from Revit.